his palm, then disappeared back into a hidden sheath, the motion almost too fast to follow. More fools they. "Well, Negan." The marshal leaned back in the folding camp chair and set the empty flagon on the table with a sharp crack. "Second watch is nearly over and still no sign of them." "Too early to relax, Marshal." Commander Negan's whisper had been given him many years before by an enemy archer. The commander had not only survived the battle, but seen to it that the archer did not. Marshal Chella smiled, the expression bracketing the rounded curves of her face with deep creases. "I never relax," she said cheerfully. "It's why I've lived to a ripe old age." She reached for the flagon, remembered it was empty, and sighed. "There's another bottle in that case behind you, Negan. Get it, would you?" "Allow me, Marshal." In one lithe motion, Bannon rose to his feet, set the clay bottle on the table, and lightly touched his blade to the commander's neck, just by the white pucker of the old scar. Chella leaned forward slightly, eyes narrowed. "Aren't you removing the wrong target?" she murmured. Vree tapped the older woman gently on the shoulder and laid a line of steel across her throat. "Don't move," she warned. "It's very sharp." Apparently oblivious to the knife tip dimpling his skin, Negan held out his hand. "You owe me 40 crescents, Marshal. I told you they could do it." "I don't want this becoming a siege. They're on springs and we aren't." Marshal Chella laced her fingers over her ample belly, the silver and ruby ring that proclaimed her a priestess of Gyhard, goddess of battles, gleaming on her shield hand. "Any suggestions?" Commander Leash stepped forward, her voice a bare shade off eager. "Why don't we just charge the city? They wouldn't survive an all-out attack." "Neither would most of us," Chella pointed out dryly. Leash was the youngest of her 4 commanders and anxious to prove a political promotion deserved in spite of evidence to the contrary. "And try to remember that the people of Goti are as much citizens of the Havakeen Empire as you are. It is our duty to attempt to find a solution that doesn't end in slaughter." "Governor Aralt commands a great deal of personal loyalty." Negan's harsh whisper quieted the rising mutter of speculation. "His people follow him, not a series of misguided ideals." The dead and dying of another earlier rebellion made themselves heard in his pause. "He promises them glory, a return to days of petty kingdoms and hollow crowns." With a graceful gesture, the commander sketched that past in the air. "What chance does the Empire's promise of peace, order, and good government have against that?" Then he spread his hands, offering the answer. "Aralt is the key. Everything revolves around him. Remove him, and this rebellion falls apart." "And how do we remove him?" Chella asked, although she strongly suspected she knew what his answer would be. Although his most recent promotion responsibilities kept him from exercising his skills, Negan was quite possibly the best military assassin in the 7 armies. "Aralt's locked himself up tight in the governor's stronghold." "I have 2 who could do the job." Leash snorted in disbelief. The marshal ignored the interruption. "Aralt's no fool for all his posturing. He'll be expecting the attempt." "Yes," Negan agreed. "These the 2 who removed But?" "Yes." "You're assuming that 2 will succeed where a single assassin might fail." He'd fought to have them trained together using that very argument, and had been proven right time after time. But this time, Chella shook her head. "No, they'd never get to him." Negan smiled. "Would the marshal care to place a small wager?" As she slid her dagger back in its sheath, Vree felt the familiar bleakness that came with the end of a mission. One moment she and Bannon were a single unit with the use of not 1 pair of eyes or ears or hands, but 2. The next she stood